Please have a seat. Is everybody all packed up? All the tents are folded? Ah, thank you. How many of you really looking forward to sleeping in your own bed? Ah, that's nice. How many of you gonna miss the deer park? Wow, same amount of people. Wow. It's so quick. How many of you think it was too quick of a retreat? Too short? Really? Wow. How many of you think it was too long? Come on, raise your hand. Be honest. Come on. Seriously? Only one nun? Yes, the monks and nuns. You think it was long? Some of them are like pretty burnt out. They help cook, they help prepare, You know what? We have 3 lazy days after this. 3 lazy days. That means no sitting meditation. Total sleepover. Yeah. Yeah, we also know how to enjoy life and be lazy. But sometime on lazy day, the monks and nuns wake up even earlier to climb the mountain. They go up there and do sitting meditation. So lazy doesn't mean you're lazy. Lazy means you do what you choose to do, not because of schedule, right? So you could choose to go in the forest. You can choose to read a book. So lazy days doesn't mean that you're lazy. It means you actually choose to do what you like. You understand? Yeah, so that's a kind of break. So thank you for coming, and you know, the retreat is not over, right? Are we still in retreat? Yeah. So let us listen to the bell and know that it's in a few hours, you're back in your normal life, on the freeway, on the airplane, and in your home, but now you're here, right? So knowing what is going to come, the future, it makes us even more appreciate this present moment right now. Right now, you're sitting here still. You see that? That's being mindful, being aware of how precious it is that we still have our friend here that we just met, and they feel like they're like our best friend, and we only met them in 3-4 days. How is that possible? So let us take a moment and listen to 3 sounds of the bell and just savor this present moment. That we made some wonderful friends. Our heart, our mind was much lighter. We didn't get bothered, we didn't get irritated, we didn't get angry. okay? So right now we are still in the retreat. We're not at home with our parents. Soon we'll be with our parents, our family, and all the things that comes around with it. But right now, we're by ourselves in the mountain with the monks and nuns. And we sit still and enjoy 3 sounds of the bell. We think how wonderful it is. We're still in the retreat. Respected teacher, dear noble community, dear family, dear young ones. Thank you for having gone through this experience with us. Some of you new here, and so we feel very, we appreciate that you gave it a try. When you first were made to come here, some of you. Yeah. So I hope it wasn't too bad. And for the monks and nuns, it's, a lot of us, especially me, is my favorite retreat actually. And the next one will be the wake-up retreat. Because I love being with young people, and you probably notice I become a lot younger when I'm with you. It's much better than being with adults, trust me. We have many adult retreats coming up. And adults are so complicated. Yeah, you know, it's like, and they don't know how to laugh. We have to try so hard. And they don't know how to like fool around, you know. It's so adult. So we love it when you guys fool around. And how many of you snuck out of your tent during this retreat? Yeah, there you go. All right. How many of you were at the red deck last night? Come on, yeah, there you go. I'm not encouraging it, but I know that happens. When I was your age, and we went to camp, I also snuck out of the cabin. We had a cabin and full of bunk beds, and I remember me and 3 other boys. We were like, and we snuck out of the window of the big log cabin, and they have a, what do you call it, a scoutmaster or something. He sleeps in the room, but he's so bad, he closes his door, you know. It's like so we snuck out, we went all around the lake. We didn't do anything bad, but it's just we wanted to like sneak out and come back in and get away with it. Oh, it was so cool. We did it twice. So for you to sneak out of your tent, you know, it's kind of hard because you have the zipper. It's so hard, huh? I sit in my tent. You don't know this, but I sit in there and I meditate and I wait to hear any zipper. Mila came in my tent and he didn't know. He flashed his light in there and he's like, whoa, he's shocked because I was sitting in there. So it looks like I'm going to sleep, but I'm waiting to hear a zipper. But I didn't hear any zipper often, you know. I was very surprised. So thank you for going to sleep early. How many of you had a hard time coming here? Like you had to be convinced to come here? Yeah? Let me see, raise your hand. How many of you didn't want to come here? Did not. You're like, oh man, what is this? Yeah? Seriously? Can you raise your hand higher? How many of you did not want to come here when before you came here? Yeah, there you go. That makes more sense. Thank you. And how many of you now the same number feel it's all right, it's all right? Yeah? Okay, that's good. How many of you feel it's great and you don't want to go home? Oh man, seriously? How many monks and nuns don't want them to go home? Oh, that's a tricky guy. Okay. Thank you for being honest, okay? Thank you. And you see how from the beginning of the retreat, we have one idea, and then now after the retreat, we have another idea. And something opened up, our heart, our mind. You see how our mind can be easily kind of changed? And what we perceive when we have ideas of what's going to happen is only in our mind. So the experience of reality is very different. And our fear of what's to come is very, sometimes it's just in our head. And this is something very important. It is the root of Buddhist meditation. You understand how your mind works like that. You know the word fickle? Fickle, very easily jump back. Boop, boop, boop. In Buddhism, we call it monkey mind. You see the image of the monkey jumping from branch to branch? Yeah, so in meditation, we learn to understand the monkey mind. And then we become friend with the monkey mind. And then the monkey knows how to climb on your shoulder, and it learns how to not jump around anymore. So that is the image of meditation, to become friend with the monkey. And then the monkey can enjoy and be with you, and is not jumping all over. And this goes along with our feelings as well. Right now you're feeling happy, but if I say something about your hair, your nose, your eye, your clothing, I'll bet you I can change your feelings. Do you think that's true? Yes. Yeah? Some of you who are more good meditator, you probably won't affect. I'm like, yeah. And before I continue, I want to wish my father and all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all our dads. Even though my dad was quite difficult. So I'll tell you a story about my dad, okay? When I was young, when I was just maybe 4 or 5 years old in Vietnam, this is what a neighbor told me. My father has a motorcycle in Vietnam, and it has a old Honda. It's like a bird wing, I remember it because it's on the gas tank. And when I was a kid, my dad would put me on the gas tank. I would hold the gas tank. They don't have baby chairs, in Vietnam. It's like, and he drove me across the canal into the area where it's like a long beach in Da Nang City. So he'll put me on the motorcycle. And when I grew up and I come to America, I had this memory of holding on to a gas tank, but I don't know if it's real or not. So that's a memory because it's so long ago, and when you're a kid, your memories are very far, right? And then when my dad was sick, he got cancer, and he was like, he got, he couldn't walk anymore. He had chemotherapy, and I took care of him for 1 year. I take him to the hospital, I give him medicine, I cook for him. And every time I eat, and he's eating, and he's happy when he's eating, I always ask him to tell me a story about my childhood and his memory of Vietnam. Before, he didn't like to talk much about it. But then I asked him, it's like, Dad, is this a real memory that I have? I remember when I was a kid, I was holding onto a gas tank. Did you ever give me a ride on your motorcycle? And he said, yeah, I gave you a ride. I take you to the beach, you and your sister. And so it's a real memory. And I said to him, I was like, but you didn't have any seatbelt for me? What if I fall? And he goes, and he said in Vietnam, Việt Nam là như vậy đó. I don't know. It means in Vietnam, anything goes. There's no child safety thing, It all works. Basically, in Vietnam, it's like, it's all good. So I think as a baby, as a kid, as a toddler, the fear of falling off the motorcycle makes you hold on to it, right? Can you see why I remember the gas tank very strongly? I think I was probably kind of freaking out. Yeah. So I remember, like this, and it's like this big, the lid, and I remember like, there's like this emblem, the Honda emblem on the right or left. So anyway, I checked with my dad, and he said, yes, I used to take, and these memories really like just fills my heart. Because, when we grew up and we had to escape Vietnam as refugee by boat, my dad had to leave everything. He had to, sell everything and give away and make the money, convert the money, and then buy our way for our whole family. I have an older sister, 2 younger siblings, and my grandma, and then my aunt and her 3 kids. So we had to sell everything and change it to gold, and then give it to the police and stuff like that to sneak our way out. And then a few weeks before I had to leave, you know what I had to do? And the adults, my parents never told me, my grandma didn't tell me, but they told me I had to get rid of all my toys. And I didn't know why. I was like, what are we doing, So I had to get rid of all my toys and give it to my friend. And I had this like low 3-wheel plastic bicycle, when you pedal in the front and the wheel like this. Oh my God, can you believe it? I had to give it away. That was so painful because I had all my favorite stickers on it. It was like my bike. And I had to give it away. And I still have pain for that because nobody told me that we're actually leaving Vietnam. Can you believe that? Just one morning, early morning, my mom and dad come in the room, grab us, and we're like in our shorts. And we had to sneak out, and we just had to be quiet. They put this thing on our mouth so we don't talk. And we had to sneak out to somewhere in the marsh, go on a little boat, and they take our little boat out to a bigger boat. And from that boat, we had to go out into the ocean. I remember getting all wet and being carried by adults from one boat to the next. So this is how I ended up in America. And can you imagine what my mom and dad felt? The pain of having to actually leave everything and don't know exactly what's going to happen. This is the pain of my father. Yeah. So when he grew up in America, he had a lot of difficulty. So he couldn't really build his life back. And so he got into depression and then drinking. So he became very, not the perfect father, right? So as I grew up, I was very angry at him. I even told him, I don't want you to be my father. That was the most painful thing I said to my dad. and I still regret it. And I see that he tried to love me very much. You know, my dad, you know how he shows me that he loves me? He said, when I was growing up and I need a ride to go somewhere, he always asks us, do you need a ride to go anywhere? And so that's the way my dad expressed his love. My dad would never talk about feelings. He would never say, I love you, right? He'll just say, do you need money? You know, for a Chinese father, it's like, do you need money? Translated in Google, it means, I love you, I care for you. If you put that in Google, that's what your father is saying. And when he says, do you need a ride? He's saying, I care for you. Do you need help? You see the translation? But if you go to my father and say, I love you, Dad, do you love me? He'll be like, go away. You see? But I was young, I didn't know. I just didn't know. And I think through meditation, I was able to see that he suffered a lot. He did not want to create suffering for our family, for us, but because he also had suffering that he didn't know how to handle, you see? So any adult, any person, even including your brother or sister, when they are causing suffering, it means they are suffering. And now, all of you, after this retreat, you are now meditators, okay? That is not a monk or a nun. I should have put hair on that, I'm sorry. But now you're all meditators. You know how to stop and look more deeply. Don't get fooled by the outer appearance from your perception. You understand? Now you're a meditator means you will look more deeply. And unfortunately, the thing that will make you look deeply is our pain and our suffering. When someone causes us pain, we have to stop and look, why are they doing that? You see, even if someone is mean, do you think they don't suffer? In fact, the ones who are mean, I mean, sometimes you can say even evil, but in Buddhism, we morally say they are not skillful. They don't have a practice. They don't know themselves. They don't know how to handle their anger. They don't know, they haven't lived with good people. They haven't been taught and raised properly. Most of you in this room are very lucky. You at least had some condition that brought you here. And now, you cannot say you don't know. Okay? You understand that? Now you cannot say, no one told me. What is that? That means that when someone is angry, someone is being mean, someone who is hateful, they are also suffering. It could be someone in the neighborhood, someone that we know in the news. It could be our loved one even. It could be our father, our mother. They may be still with us. They may have passed on, transitioned. But we have to look deeply, just like my father. When I was young, I didn't know this. And that's why I have to tell you. And I would regret if I didn't tell you that everybody's trying their best, even the ones who are causing harm. They are trying to, but they don't know how. And you might be their only chance. And now you know how to practice. You know how to nourish your kindness, your compassion, to some extent, some of you more than others, but you at least now stepping on the path. This is the path that we're taking, that we won't become a hateful person. This is what we are being exposed to. So anytime you're confronted with that, remember, stop and look more deeply. And what are we looking at? The pain, the suffering, and go deeper. It's like, why? are they causing that? What is the condition? How was my father, raised? What were the challenges and suffering that caused him? The war, right? An instability in the country. Everything, he was threatened many times in Vietnam. That's why we had to escape. Our family was threatened because, they wanted money. People, in the government, the police. And so they threw a grenade in our house. And can you imagine my father trying to raise a family? So he was under a lot of pressure. And so we don't see this if we don't look deeply. And as a meditator, we have that opportunity. One time a neighbor told me, here in Deer Park, they knew I became a monk. And they were a neighbor across the street from us in Vietnam, in Da Nang. And they came up here and the mother and the father sat with me right under that pepper tree. And he said, I have a memory of you that you probably don't remember. When you were a baby, your dad let you play with his tools. He loved his motorcycle and he loved his tools. He had these chrome tools that he fixed his bike with. And the father, the man that told me, he said, he would never let us borrow his tools. He would keep it very clean, but he would let you play with it. Can you imagine that? I hold on to that memory like it is the most precious diamond of my life. So anytime I do something now with tools, I do it with my father's hand. You see, even though he's passed away, he's still alive in me. So I continue to live for him because I know he will be very happy. You see that? My father has not died. He's just changed his form. He's become ashes nourishing the earth and the mountain. But I also have him in me. So every time I work with tools now, I think of my father. Anytime I fix something, I know it's my father. He fixes everything. He doesn't throw anything away. We have a trash bin. It's like the trash bin that's forever, He takes another piece of metal, he bolts it into the bottom, makes it sharp, and the edge is like rusting. He takes another piece of metal. He continually fixes this dustbin. And as a young boy, I used to really get annoyed with that. I was like, God, just buy a new dustbin. I would be like saying stuff like that. But now when I was helping clean the house, and I came across the dustbin. Can you imagine that? But now my dad is not using it anymore. So now I use it. I took it in the backyard and I sweep the leaves with this funky dustbin. You see that? My dad is still very alive. And so this is something with the practice of meditation, we begin to touch our father, our mother, those that we love, and those who loved us, in a deeper way. We don't get fooled by, the notion that they're gone. And this, for me, I am still practicing. I sat with you the other day in the small hall, all the young men and boys. Remember that? We had this beautiful sharing, and I really felt my father present. Because that's something he would love to have done for us. But he didn't know how. He didn't know how to sit down and listen and to share feelings. And I was so proud of all of you guys, that you don't have to put up a front, that you're strong, that you can be vulnerable and share. My father couldn't do that because of all these notions, right, in society. So this is very, very, we're very blessed to come across that. So that's something I just wanted to share to start off, to celebrate Father's Day. So please, if your father is still alive, if he's gone, you can write a letter. When we give you a phone back later, you can text him. And just try to find that little diamond. even if it's a small diamond, something he did for you, something he did for the family. Remind him that you recognize that he tried his best and that maybe it was difficult. So that's something that we can do for our father for today. And we're going to give you back your phone so you'll have that chance. But you can do that when you come home too, okay? And I shared yesterday in my Dharma sharing group, you can also practice flower watering or appreciating someone, do it like ninja style. I mean, sometimes the father is very uncomfortable if you talk about feelings, so you sneak it. You put a present in his on his desk, or put it on his bed, and then don't put your name on it. Just do it to express that you recognize that he's in the family. That's called ninja practice, you know, because sometimes you practice, but you make the other people feel uncomfortable, right? Like you're eating silent, and you're like, you know, you keep looking over at them, and they're like, "What's wrong?" You know. See, sometimes, so we have to like sometimes be stealth about it. Ninja practice, okay? So you could do that with your father, or with anyone who feel uncomfortable with practice. Right? So that's called ninja practice. And so please take your time and reflect on that. And it could be towards your mom too. So here, father is just representative of all those people who took care of us. So this is something we want to give honor to our dads, all our dads. No matter how much, you know, they maybe have caused us suffering, because they didn't know how. You see, they had to play a role, right, of the father, of the strong. Like my dad went the opposite way. He couldn't live up to it, so he went to depression. So you either become really masculine and dominant and domineering and like aggressive, even towards us as their son or their daughter, or you go kind of reverse. Like men have this kind of difficulty, fathers, or they go reverse. They retreat to gambling, drugs, alcohol, depression. My father stayed in his room sometime for months. And we had to go in there and give him food, and it really, the hygiene, it was really bad. It's depression. So my dad went through depression. So this is something very real, that even our parents, the pressure for them to succeed as parents, so that's why they have so much pressure on you. Right? And so they don't know. They don't know that, you know, your happiness is good enough. And so this is something you can slowly communicate to your father and your mother. So thank you for your practice. And let's listen to the one sound of the bell. And let us visualize our father, our mother. Even though they might have caused us some suffering, they don't understand us, they might be impatient, they might even be aggressive, but they are trying their best, and they don't know how to be, you know, how the skillful way to be a father or a mother. So we see them, and we send them all our love and our care. Yesterday, someone asked about that image up there of the Buddha going back to his father. You know, retold, reframed another way is very similar to our struggle. The Buddha had when he was a young man, he had a hard time with his father as well. His father wanted him to be the next king, to be, you know, How many of you guys, like your parents want you to be lawyers, doctors, and whatever, like successful business, rich? Yeah? How many of you have that pressure? Yeah. I had that pressure a little bit. The Buddha had that pressure. They expected him to be the next ruler of their kingdom. And he saw how his father suffered a lot. Like he had to like sneak around and do politics and stuff. And then he had his son, right? And he's trying to figure out, God, if I can't handle all this anger and all this like dis-ease, suffering within myself, I would just pass it on to my son. So even the Buddha, right in between his father and his son, was suffering. And he was determined to do it differently. He's like, I am not going to continue this. And so he chose to go on a spiritual path to discover a way. So he can bring peace to himself, and therefore will not transmit to his son. You know that determination? I will end this anger, this hate, this sadness, this depression in me. Because there's a lot of pressure on the Buddha to succeed, but he couldn't live up to it. He didn't want to. So he chose a different path, a spiritual path. And he had to go find different teachers in the forest to learn from them. And he learned very quickly the path. And this is what has been transmitted down to us. So Buddhism is not a religion. There was no Buddhism at the time of the Buddha, right? Was there Christianity at the time of Jesus? No. So you have to reframe. Don't get caught in religion. There is no religion. They're just young people, young men, unfortunately, only, but I'm sure there are young women and other people as well that don't want to fit into the system. You understand? Jesus was that. He said, you know, I'm not buying into this. So the Buddha was this young man. He didn't want to buy into it either. Like, this is not the way of happiness. This is not the way of peace. So this is more a way of human beings evolving and breaking out of the mold of what we should be. Like a successful doctor, successful whatever. If you want to be a doctor, it's great. It's your choice. You need to do that. Make that choice. So this is the journey of a spiritual, a young person on a spiritual journey, right? And when he found that path, he transmitted on and on to his student, all the way down to this morning. You know, this morning when we transmit the 5 mindfulness training, that's exactly the same as what the Buddha did to continue, keep passing on. And now you have it. You can also transmit it to others by your practice. You see how it goes? That's the spiritual quest, the spiritual career. You see, so it's not a religion. So please don't go home and tell your friends or your family anything, now you're Buddhist, because you were at a Buddhist monastery. That's the worst thing you could do. Sorry, it's kind of weird coming from a monk. But I sometimes don't say I'm a Buddhist, because people get all kinds of weird ideas about it. You know, whoa! You know, like, you know, I go in the street and they go, somebody jumped in front of me in the alleyway and go, oh, and I'm like, but you know what happened? Luckily, I know walking meditation. And I did walking meditation, because they were like gangs. Like, it's behind like all the auto shops and stuff. And they were friends of the mechanics. And you know what I did? I did walking meditation. And I was like, ooh, this is strange. I was waiting for my car to get fixed, so I was wandering around. And I wandered down the wrong alley. This is in LA, by the way. And you know the power of walking meditation? I walk like this, down the alley, and I was like, man, just deal with my fear. And all these guys like, whoa, you better not mess with them, you know, some of the other guys. And luckily, you know, when you walk like that, yeah, it creates a kind of energy. And then it was like, oh, all right, we're not messing with you. You know, where are you from? And they started talking to me. And my fear went down like that. And they just want to know who I was, you know, and I asked them who they were. I was scared, actually, because, you know, they looked pretty mean. They had tattoo on them and everything, but actually we started hanging out. And yeah. I sat there and we talked, so we had a real conversation. And they're wonderful people. But you see, immediately how I judge them just because the way they look, their hair a certain way, they have tattoos, and it's like in an alleyway. Anyway, I learned a lesson that when you're afraid, come back to your breathing and just one step, next step. And when you walk like that, luckily it also looks like you know Kung Fu. Because you're like, your posture is like a certain way, right? If I start walking like I'm a fearful, you know, and that's what happens. They'll come on to you. So anytime you're afraid of something, come back to your breath. I don't know how I got into that. How did I get into that story? I like to tell stories. I better share something that's a little dharmic. How many of you know my name? How many of you had different thoughts when you saw that? Come on. Who wants to make fun of the name? Raise your hand. Be honest. Yeah, there you go. It's cool, huh? So that's the kind of, you see that habit? You have a habit. You're like, oh my God. Who would have a name like that? Oh my God. Ooh, who would have a name like that? Ooh. You see how it works? It's just a name, right? In Vietnamese, the D is like a Y. Yeah. If it's like a D as in Dung, it has this. You know Vietnamese, right? Vietnamese? So in Vietnamese, there's two Ds, this D and that D. If it's this D, then it's like that. Yeah. See, but, you know, it's just a name, right? I don't feel bad about it. Can everyone say Phap Dung? Phap Dung. Say it, please. Phap Dung. Yeah, it's great. Some of you last night kind of resisted, and I wanted to offer you to say it. It's okay. But we recognize that sometimes we will make fun of someone, right? Out of habit. You see that? How would you feel if someone said that to you and made fun of your name?
I would laugh.
Yeah. Oh, it's all good. How about they make fun of your eyes? So you see that tendency that we all have? We kind of like, we have this tendency to like jump at something, okay? So I wanted to get that out of you before you leave here. You can say Phap Dung, it's okay. I really, that's great. Mấy giờ mình kết thúc hả? 12 giờ phải không? What do you see?
A seed?
Why are you excited? Why are you excited?
It's a circle.
Yes? Why are you excited?
It's so cool, bro.
Why are you getting so excited? Who likes this one? Who likes that one? Who likes that one? Now, who likes that one? Wow. What's that? It's what?
It's so meaningful.
Meaningful? Why do you say that?
I don't know.
No, I'm serious. Think about it. Why do you say that? Hold on, you guys listen. Why did you say that?
Then I said it's a joke, but like I also see it as me, I guess. I don't know.
Wait, say again.
Huh? What?
Can you? I didn't hear you.
What?
Why did you say it's so meaningful? What does that mean?
Nothing?
No, just go ahead. Help clarify. Okay. I have no idea what exercise that was, but I just wanted to see how you react. Okay, listen. Don't be so loud, Gong. Just, yeah, you see that? You need to control that a little bit. Yeah. You learn something here, so you need to practice. What's that? Yeah, we could do that. Okay. Yes?
Can you give the man a smiley face?
You want a smiley face?
Yeah.
Okay. Someone suggested to have a smiley face. What's that? What? Eyes. That's funky. Thank you, making this a collaborative effort. I wanted to share with you one way of looking at yourself so you know that you are enough, okay? It's very important. You can't leave here without knowing how this works. Because you say, oh, I am enough, but it's a little bit vague. So that's why in Buddhist meditation, it's always, you have to be very clear, what is it? Who are you? You are enough, but you're also changing. Do you have a picture of you when you're like a younger person at home? Like from this grade to the next grade, right? Do you ever take a look at the older one, the younger one, when you were younger? Yeah? In your yearbook? The question I have for you is, are you the same person or are you different? Different? It depends. What does it depend on? Someone say depend. Are you the same person or a different person from that person? Back there, your hand. Wow, okay. So you're kind of the same, but you're not really different. Who you agree with that? Who disagrees with that? You? What is it? Who's speaking? Can you stand up? I can't see you. There you go. No, how about, no, I'm talking about you. Are you the same person? Is that your personality-wise? When you were 2 years old, your personality is the same as now? 2 years old to now. Okay. So 2 years old, he was mature like he is now. How about you? Stand up. Yeah? Okay, listen. You gotta listen. Nothing is permanent, everything is changing. Okay, but my question is, are you the same person?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, you're not the same person as that picture.
Who is a person in the pictures?
I mean, I guess it's kind of how you think about, like, I guess my cells are different, and my brain has changed.
Okay.
I've had different thoughts and experiences, but I've also had the same, like, I still have the same experiences, and I am the same person still, so maybe I am the same person.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated, huh? Some parts of it is the same, but your nose is a little different, your hair is a little different, your feelings a little different, your maturity is a little different, but it's not really completely different. There's something a little same about it. How about you, brother?
Just thought who you are now is just like a compilation of everything that you were before now, right? So like you are made up of every previous version.
Right. So it's kind of like yeah, it's like, you know, the seed of an apple becoming a small apple, a bigger apple. So you see it? So from the small apple to the big apple, can't really. Yours?
I think it's like we aren't the same person we were before, but that person from before is still somehow some part of us, still part of us.
Okay, that's great. That's like a very continuous. Say it louder.
If you've ever made a candle, it's kind of like making a candle, dipping it in the wax.
The candle, and then it's burning, right? And what is it?
If you've ever made a candle, you dip it in the wax again and again, add more layers and make the candle bigger.
Ah, okay, I see. When you make a candle, right? I thought you said you burn a candle. So that one is more like this. You ever made a candle? Yeah, it goes like that. And you keep dipping, and then another layer, right? Another layer of the candle, right? So you keep adding on. That is very, it's closer to, see, we continue to add on, right? And as we grow, it depends on what kind of wax we're adding on, right? One more?
I think it's like kind of like what Sister B talked about, the yin and yang. Like your inner child is a part of you now. That's like a portion of you. And the person you are now is a portion of the child's destiny.
Wonderful.
It's like you're integrating with yourself.
Great, beautiful. So you know nothing is lost, right? There's that little yin yang dancing around here. You guys see yin yang in there? Now you're becoming more. You're becoming more deep. Okay. So when I say and when we say you are enough, it's very important to not get stuck on the you. Okay? You are enough. Okay? That means like when you're feeling sad, this will help. But in Buddhism, the practice that we learn, the you is continuously moving, changing. And this, now you get to the practice. And when the you, in the Buddhist way of describing things, it's not like really what it is, but it's a way to help us, okay? And there's 5 aspects. And this has helped me a lot. When I was a young person, I first learned meditation. This was key to my reconciling with my father. And that's why you can't leave here without understanding this. So we have our body, so the you here. The way to help us is not really exactly the truth, it's just a model. Just like in math, in science, we have theses and models to help us navigate as we experiment and explore how the world is and how it affects us, right? Like, remember we learned about the nutriments? Certain nutriments, how it affects our body, right? What we eat and how that affects our body, right? Then the other part is our mind.
Oh, mind and body?
Do you think your mind get affected?
Yes.
Yeah. When you consume what? When you consume, give me an example. What? Dharma talk. You consume a Dharma talk. What? CAD? What is that? CAD video? Like CAD? Oh, TED. Oh, TED video. TED. How about like a really violent movie? Yeah. Does it affect your body? Yeah, you get like, they make the movie theater colder when it gets scary. That intensified. In the future, they're going to make the whole movie theater shake. And you're going to have trauma, like you think it's a real earthquake. And you go home, you can't even sleep. Okay, now these 3 right here is the important part, okay? Our feelings. We all have feelings. We all know that is, right? Feelings and emotion. You see how it goes up and down? How we react, how we move because of feeling. It's just a feeling. You see, this week we had a break. You explore different feelings. You had different feelings about yourself. And that's possible if you know how to navigate and how to feed. Everything needs food, right? Everything needs food, including you. Your body needs food, your mind needs food, your feelings need food. So when you're sad and you keep feeding yourself, oh, I'm terrible, and you go back, oh, God, I never get anything right. You're feeding your mind and your feelings more. You get it? That is exactly, we call it rumination. You know when the cow chews? Right? It swallows, and then what happens? It gurgitates again, and then it chews again. This is their process. So we call it keep chewing our suffering, our sadness, and it grows bigger and bigger. But if we balance it off by taking a break, coming back to our breath, it's just a feeling. Then you choose to go out to take care of the garden, to flower, to call a friend and tell the person you're sad. And they remind you, but you're not just that, it's just a feeling. We'll get through this. And they say, but you also have good qualities. All of a sudden, the bad feeling, the sad feeling, the depressed feeling balanced with feelings of appreciation, love, kindness, gentleness. And then the you find balance. So don't ever let one feeling get overwhelmed. It's just a feeling. Like yesterday you had a feeling. The day you arrived here on the retreat, you had a feeling. I don't know about this, Dad. Oh, I don't know about this. There's a lot of people here. Now you sit here, look at your faces. It's so different. You feel much more at ease, and some of you are like smiling, like you're aching. I see you around it. I mean, you have to massage your cheeks. I see some of you smiling so much. Next one, our perception. You know what this is? Perception. Yeah, point of view. Remember this? When you look at this, you think of something, that's your perception. You see that? It's just ink on a white sheet, on a white board, right? When I point at this, what do you think? Yeah, you see how perception works? How about this? Yeah, it's just drawings. Yeah, you see how you work? So perception, you have to be very, you have to look deeply into how that works. You see someone walk across and you see how they look, all of a sudden you're afraid. Oh man, they're gang. Oh, they're bad people. You look at someone, they have long hair and it's colored a certain way, you're like, oh, he must be a strange one. Right? Oh, you see someone, oh, he looks like a cool guy. You're going to try to get close to him, right? You see, you need to know how your mind works. Once you get to know them, you find out, wow, they're so different. And then your perception again builds, right? It builds, right? And then we trap ourselves and we trap other people in our perception. You understand that? How many of you have perceptions about your father? He's like this, he's like that, he's never like that. I'll share with you an experience. When I was sitting meditation, first time I come back from a retreat, I was in our altar room, bằng thờ, you know, the phòng bằng thờ, right? Every Asian, Vietnamese family has a room dedicated. And so I did meditation in there. I had an incense, and I promised myself I will not leave this cushion until this incense goes down. One morning, early morning, I was sitting in there and the incense was still burning. And I like to wake up early because I learned that from the meditation retreat. And then I hear my father yelling at my grandma. And immediately I was like, why does he have to be so mean? She's just trying to help clean the house. Leave her alone. I was sitting there and I wanted to get out and like yell at him. But the incense was it still had some left. And I remember, okay, I can't leave until the incense goes down. And that is the first time I see my perception. The image of my father was in my head. I knew I was going to get up and slam the door to let him know that I'm very angry. I was going to yell at him. I saw all that play through me like a TED video. And I sat there and I continued to breathe. And slowly following my breath, I felt my body kind of relax. I was not tight anymore, because as soon as I heard his voice, my body tightened up. So I relaxed, and I saw that he was trying to help my grandma. And slowly my anger towards him was like, it dissipated. It was no longer there. I saw that he was trying to help, my grandma's trying to help. And I remember from the meditation, the retreat, and I say, that is just my idea. This is just my idea about my father, and he hasn't done anything towards me for me to get angry. But because I have this called knot inside, a knot of anger, I shoot and yell at him in my head. And when that dissipated, I was so happy. I can still remember, I still get goosebumps remembering that moment. I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I didn't get out of the altar room. I was like, man, I would have like really made the whole house, the whole day really like a bomb, right? And that was the first time I was free from my perception, from my feelings. You see that? From my body too, being tense. And later, towards 7 o'clock, I came out, made some breakfast, and I was the happiest person that day. No matter what my dad said that morning, I was like, man, I just escaped from destroying the house, you know? And I was a young man, I was like really angry. You know, in our kitchen, my siblings know it's famous that in the sibling, all the cabinets have holes in them because I got so angry one time. I punched through the holes of the cabinet. I think subconsciously I know that those doors are hollow too, so, because I was so angry at my parents. And so I was a very angry person. And that was the first time I was free from my anger. You see the freedom in Buddhism that Sister D talked about? This is not freedom of like, oh, you get to say what you want. Oh, I get to go wherever I want. But the freedom in the spiritual practice on the path is the freedom from your anger, freedom from your perception, freedom from the ideas of ugly, pretty. I want to be like that, I want to be like that. I like this, I don't like that. That is freedom. And this is the only way for you to be a free and happy person. The more you grow, the more you'll see how this works. The more you meditate, you'll see. So here, I'm not telling you what the truth is and how to do. I'm just giving you a tool so you can examine your world, examine yourself. So these are the 4 elements. The 5th element, it's a technical term, is called mental formation. This really helped me. Mental formation also, it just means notions. What else? Ideas. Concepts. You understand that? You guys understand this? So it's it's more coagulated, more tight than perception. Perception, you see, boom, and you react right away. You have a very reflexive impulse, impression. Oh, I like her. Oh, I don't like him. Oh, I like that. Oh, this is good food. Oh, this is so tasty. Oh, this is awful. This is very fickle. When you get to mental formation, now you're talking about who am I? Identity. I am alpha. I am type A. I am introvert. I'm type Z. You see? Now you have to put up with it. Now I'm a funny person. Everyone likes me. Now what? I got to put up with that. I can't be sad anymore, because if I'm sad, they're going to think that I'm like not who I am. You see how that works? Then you're actually jumping around, dancing for other people. You want to do that, it's fine. But on the path of liberation, a free person will not dance to anyone. We know who we are and that we are enough. And anytime we have feelings come up, we have things that disturb us, that are a little bit different from us, we know how to look deeply and see it is our mind and how we were raised, our culture. So this is when I was a young person and I first came across meditation. Understanding this, when I went to the temple with my mom and dad, the monks didn't teach me this. Only after I met my teacher, he taught me this, that Buddhism is not a religion, a God to pray to, but it is a mental technology, mental training method. The same way as you train and build your body, like if you're an athlete or if you into sports, a skill, in meditation is very equivalent to an art, to master and know how your mind works. And this is the essence of Buddhism, okay? And please look more deeply into it. Our teacher wrote a book. It's called The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching. If you want to look further into this, is how to understand how our mind works and what we are composed of. In Buddhism, it's very important to investigate our ideas about who we are. And once you understand that, then you understand your father, your mother, you understand the group of people, how they behave, the culture, and why they have assumptions like that. Why people discriminate, why people are violent. This is the key to examine everything that happens in the website. Good news, bad news, crazy controversy. You use this method, it's like, oh, what is underneath that? You look deeply and you understand, it's because they have wrong perception. Because they have notions and discriminations about other people. It's because they have feelings and emotions of fear. That's why they want to protect their nation and cause violence to another nation, because they have an idea that they're being oppressed. You see that? So this is the way to look at our world so that we will not become a victim. So now you know, please take a note of this and continue to explore it. The five, how do you call it? The five, what is the pieces of the orange? 5 slices? Yeah? Wedges. The 5 wedges of orange, okay? Remember this image, there's 5 wedges in us. And you need to, this helped me a lot as a young person to explore the 5 wedges and to begin to know how that works. Is there any question? Yes?
I think you should go to TED Talk. It would be so cool.
What's that?
I think you should attend to a TED Talk, and hopefully maybe they'll invite you to have a TED Talk session, because like what you're saying, it might change a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I'm actually very happy to be here with you. I wouldn't trade this for anything, even to be on TED Talk and be famous, because I know it comes a lot of stress. When you give a TED Talk, then you have to put up your online self and take care of that. So I know there's a lot of suffering. If you go on TED Talk, you'll be in big trouble, because then everybody, and then you have to like, you know, and then I don't have time to, you know, drink tea with you around the fire, right? You see? So I know what is happiness. I know I am enough. So don't be tempted by anything, even famous and cool or like so loved people. Don't even get fooled by that, because even famous people have a lot of suffering, and well-known people, and even if you influence a lot of people, there's a lot of suffering as well. So for me, I always protect my life here to learn I have time. You understand that, Gong? Yeah. I always I have time for you and to be with my family, my community. And that's very important. So as you become more meditator, you will recognize what is a temptation. You understand? And that you'll be a freer person.
Could you elaborate on why you do the spiral?
Yes, someone mentioned that it was growing on and on, growing further and further. So the spiral is a mathematical or a graphical way of showing the accumulation. And nature happens in very much a spiral, Fibonacci rhythms, right? And all of that's what math is so beautiful. You love math, you understand that, right? Huh? The planets, everything is moving like that, right? Same thing within us. So yin yang is not just circular, it's also flowing. And that Qigong, if you learn Qigong, it's like that. You slowly start with a little spiral, and then you have a more accumulated energy. It's called synergy. Yeah, you start with a little bit, but it becomes like exponential. So that's the image there. So don't limit yourself. The spiral also means it's unlimited. But because we have notions of squares, circles, and who we are, and we put ourselves in a box, I am Asian, I'm Vietnamese. I'm not just Asian and Vietnamese. I'm a walking, legged, evolving animal. I'm a coyote. I'm a bug. Exactly. I'm a bird. I'm a centipede. I'm a worm. You ever try to be a worm? You lay on the grass? So don't limit yourself, okay? Don't let society and the conventions and school and education put you in a box. So this is the you are enough. The you there, don't limit yourself. You see that rectangle? Get rid of it. You're much more than that. Don't let anyone tell you. And this is one way. As soon as you recognize a label, even your label, oh, I am shy, oh, I'm a victim, break out of that. It's just one, but you have many, many other roles. I'm also this. I'm not just a monk. I'm a 5-year-old child. I'm a crazy teenager. You should see me in the mountain, I jump. You see, so don't limit yourself. You understand that? So thank you for, coming and being open. Your generation is so open, and it really makes the monks and nuns very happy. Your mind, you're so inclusive and very considerate of other people. When I was your age, I was fighting a lot. I was discriminated, and I remember I was your age. I had to put up a lot of stuff because I was discriminated. I grew up in a very different neighborhood than myself, and so I had no idea how to be kind. Can you believe that? But because I suffered so much being mean and being stingy, that helped. I suffered. And then it helped me I had to find a way out of it. I didn't want to be an angry person anymore. I didn't want to be a sad person anymore. That's just a little bit of being human. So life is so much to explore. You will have about maybe 60, 70 more years, right, if you're lucky. And then the truth is like that, huh? And you will go back to the earth, right? So please, you're young, so continue to learn and study, okay? And learn what it means to have a meaningful life, to have a worth living life, and don't waste it. So this is something, and if you ever get burnt out and you get really downtrodden, remember 5 days you were here and you were happy, gentle, you were not judged, you were accepted. So remember that. If you get low in battery, come back. Give us a call and say, can I come back to Deer Park? And you can always come back here. You know our email address, right? So thank you. And let's end here with 3 sounds of the bell. Come back to beautiful mountain posture. Come back to our breathing. And every time we hear the bell, we do check-in. How's my body? How's my feelings? What has made impression on my mind? What has made me perceive? What are some notions floating my mind? Always check in, okay? How am I doing? Am I enough? You check in. And you answer, this is good enough. And you come back and enjoy being happy, being healthy right now. You don't have to wait for anyone